Hello, you're watching Much Ado About Something, and I'm Donna. Well, today, for the day 11 of the Every Bit Counts challenge, I'm going to be canning tomatoes. I've had my tomatoes in this roaster, and I've had it roasting for about, a full day, maybe about 12 hours. I'm going to take this stick blender, and I'm going to mix all of these tomatoes that I've had cooking for a while in here. I'm going to mix them all up. This is a good way with my limited space for me to go ahead and get these tomatoes blended up to make a sauce. And so since it's an easy way for me to do it, that's what I go ahead and do. Now I've carried my roaster over here near my stove. I have my jars heating in my oven at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to get the jars out, and these tomatoes are hot, and I've just whipped them into a paste or a sauce, and I'm going to fill my jars up with this tomato sauce. Our tomatoes kind of come in all at once here. We didn't have a really big garden this year, so we're just making use of what tomatoes that we have. I'm taking bottled lemon juice, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of lemon juice in each one of these quarts, because I'm not sure how much acid these tomatoes have. And I'll be water bath canning these, so I want to be sure they have enough acid. I'm using lemon juice. You can use vinegar. A tablespoon of vinegar would also work for this. I prefer the taste of the lemon juice, and that's the reason I'm using lemon juice in this. And then for the pints that I got here, the 2 pints, I'm just going to use a half of a tablespoon. Now I'll also put a teaspoon of salt in each one of my quarts. I love the flavor that salt adds. I'm not on a salt restricted diet. Nobody in my family is, so there's no reason that I can't use this teaspoon of salt and add that flavor. Salt also has a preservative factor. Now I am just going to go ahead and fill up these jars with my tomato sauce. And I'll fill these up to about a ½ of an inch head space on the jar. This will make a delicious chunky sauce to go over pasta, to add to soups. I love canned tomatoes. My husband loves tomatoes. He would eat tomatoes every day if he had them. So I have these 7 quarts. My roaster filled up these 7 quarts, and I had this little tiny bit left over here. And of course I'll take this little tiny bit that I've got and I'll put a lid on it and put it in the refrigerator, because I'll be able to use that in a soup or some kind of dish coming up, and it won't be wasted. I'm just going to take a cloth and wipe the rim of my quart jars that have my sauce in it. So that when I put my lids on here, if there's any kind of tomato sauce that got on the rim, it won't prevent my cannon lid from sealing it. You want a clean contact surface for your lid. I'm just finger tightening the lid and the rings onto the quart jars. I'll put this partial jar in the refrigerator. And then I'll get these jars ready for a water bath. I'll lift these cans of tomato sauce down into this Fresh Tech water bath canner. And it holds 7 quarts. I'll cover the top with at least 2 inches of water. Actually, this canner has a max fill line that helps you with knowing how much to keep these things covered. So I'll cover that up to the max fill line. Bring that to a boil. I'll put it on cannon here. And then after it gets to a rolling boil, I'll put the cover that goes in there, and then I'll time it. I'll usually can my sauce for about 45 minutes in a water bath, since this is just tomatoes, a tablespoon of lemon juice in each quart, and a teaspoon of salt, because there's no other ingredients, low acid ingredients, that I have to worry about. I don't pressure can it, and I'll just can this for about 45 minutes. But you follow whatever guidelines you normally use for canning. Now I'll start the time. It's at a good boil, and I'll boil it for 45 minutes. Okay, my processing time is up for this sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and take my jars out of the water bath. Okay, that's day 11 of my Every Bit Counts challenge. That's my tomato sauce there canned, and I'll just wait for them to cool and seal. And I'll have 7 quarts of tomato sauce. It's separated a little bit in the water bath, but it should, when it cools, I can shake it and it'll mix back up. Thank you for joining me today, and like always, until next time.